Welcome to the Sports Daily Early Look, where we will take a deep dive into the feature at Belmont on Saturday. The SEACORP HYPERION Stakes run at Group 3 level over the 1,600 metres. And I mention we because Taylor Cortland. I am joined by Digby Beecham.
A very good morning to you, TC. Looking forward to having a closer look at this feature on Saturday, given what we witnessed a fortnight earlier with the Group 3 Belmont Sprint fought out by the Velvet Queen and Bustler, and unsurprisingly, they're very much in the market here.
Brilliant segue. Bustler currently at the time of recording and at the Velvet Queen, both at $3 with Tab Touch at the top of the market. Dom to Shoot at $6, Playing Marika at $12, $15 and up the remainder of the field, headed by Mink's Moment. It is race number 8 on the program on Saturday at Belmont. We'll mention the speed map, but really I think both of us, speaking before recording, we've got no idea.
Yeah, exactly right. We're certainly contrasting opinions on what happens here from the moment the gates open. I think what we can agree with, TC, is that there doesn't appear to be a lot of genuine tempo, genuine top end tempo. I thought maybe the Velvet Queen from Barrier 2 over 1,600 metres could land in a prominent position. You're seeing the race somewhat differently?
She'd land in a prominent position. I thought she'd be 1-1. The two horses in front of her, I'm not really sure. Maybe No Apology, I thought. Drawn wide. If the horse goes back, no chance of winning in a sit and sprint, No Apology. So I thought maybe Lucy would take the bull by the horns and maybe go forward, but with no real confidence on who leads this race.
Are you Team Bustler or Team the Velvet Queen? Because I think there's going to be a divide with the punters, and there was very little that separated them last Saturday week.
Before I answer that question, go back a fortnight. What did you make of Bustler and what did you make of the Velvet Queen?
The Velvet Queen probably produced a career best performance, entering weight for age company against some very, very good horses who had form around Amelia's Jewel, one of those being Bustler. I thought she stepped cleanly and then probably couldn't muster at the same tempo as what we saw earlier in the race with a Comfort Me, who rolled them along. You had Red Can Man, who was an on-speed runner, and therefore she was sort of midfield and had to sort of swing around a few horses to come into clear air, turning for home. I thought the effort was terrific. Bustler had a 3-deep cart with cover. In saying that, he had the back of Star Trade, but he was probably on inferior ground. A lot of those horses on the opening day of Belmont closer to the rail were suited. He did a super job, I thought, to gun them down over 1,400 metres where he had to make his run from.
He was the only horse to break 12 seconds over his final furlong. Bustler did go into that race with a little bit more race fitness than the Velvet Queen. She went into that race on the back of one trial after a really good end to her summer campaign. Is there, between the two of them, Bustler and the Velvet Queen, is there a horse at the 1,600 metres suits better?
You'd argue the Velvet Queen. It suits her better, because of what we've seen with her running in a Latrice and what we've seen previously. She's perhaps a little bit more conditioned than Bustler. Is he likely to be the better horse? You could argue yes, because he's still very much a work in progress and he's trending the right way. Not saying she isn't. She's been not so much a slow burn because she's always been a handy horse, but as I said earlier, I think that was a career best performance in the Belmont Sprint, and if she takes natural benefit from that, awfully hard to beat here.
Absolutely. I thought she'd be hard to beat. I ended up with her on top. I marked her favourite in my market just on the fact that I thought 1,600 metres suits her a little bit better, and Chris Parnham, drawn 2, I thought would try and have Bustler on his inside the whole time and then can dictate to that runner is how I thought it would work out. But taking a look at other chances, Dom to Shoot started the campaign really well. 2 starts ago, was a Northern Stakes winner, was really good on that occasion over the 1,300 metres. Struck a soft 6 track there at Belmont last start and played no real part in the Belmont Sprint. Is he a horse that can bounce back?
Yeah, he can, just because we know that his best is good enough. He's 4th up here at the mile. I'd argue maybe the 1,200 and the 1,300 of the Joey and also the Northern Stakes just took that zip from his legs, and the 1,400 third up was perhaps a little bit too short. He's now getting to a sweet spot in regards to his distance range, the mile.
Playing Marika on the 4th line of betting. If we go back to the summer, the Latrice was only less than half a length off the Velvet Queen. So if we're making a case for the Velvet Queen, we probably need to make a case for playing Marika, although she does come out of alternative form lines out of the 84 plus tab touch stakes.
Yep.
Needs to lift off that performance.
She does. She drops 3 kilos. She gets to weight for age, but she looked like she just couldn't quicken off that slow tempo under the 60. You're right. I thought she perhaps could be 1-1 if the Velvet Queen led. Now, there's conflicting opinions on whether the Velvet Queen does take up the running here, but she'll be handy. She's an on-speed runner, and in a race devoid of genuine tempo, that's going to work in her favour, you would think.
Can you make a case for Minx to Moment?
Yeah, again, on trial at the trip, but yes, I thought I saw enough there fresh off the back of one trial at 1,400 metres. We saw what he was able to do in the Gold Rush late last year. It was good. Beaten 3 lengths on that occasion, I think, behind the Astrologist. 1,600 again. We're waiting to see what he looks like at the mile, but I respect Adam's ability to get the work into his legs, and I think you'll see a different horse. And I thought he gets a lovely run, perhaps on the back of a playing Marika. He'll be forward of midfield over the mile from a better gate. He's a knockout hope for me.
Speaking of knockout hopes of the remainder of the field, maybe Notorious One, but if Notorious One wins this race, I'll probably be doing some money on the punt. He's just a horse that's very difficult to catch.
Yeah, not for me. It's been in excess of 640 days. I have trust issues with Notorious One, albeit I do respect his raw ability. It's just his ability to do the right things more often than not in the course of a race.
How do you suggest we make some money on the race?
I'm with Bustler. I've tossed and turned whether it's Bustler or the Velvet Queen. Where does the Velvet Queen get in the run? What do they do? He's got a turn of foot. He box seats here in a race where they're not going to go that hard, I don't think. If that's the case, it just needs the splits to open at the appropriate time. And if that's the case, I think he can dart through and win back-to-back weight for age events.
$50 on Bustler for Diggers, $50 the win, the Velvet Queen for myself. And if you do follow us in this weekend, do it with Tab Touch. And as always, gamble responsibly.
You win some, you lose more. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.